Your story doesn't begin with chaos. It begins with privilege. You hatch in the best piece of real estate in the entire lake, a perfectly cleared, sandy crater sheltered by a massive sunken log and surrounded by a dense fortress of weeds. Your father is a colossal largemouth bass, a tyrant of muscle and fury who patrols the borders of his kingdom with absolute authority. Nothing gets in, nothing threatens you. You and your thousands of siblings thrive under his protection. But your father's dominance isn't an accident, it's an inheritance. It all started back in 1932, when a farmer named George W. Perry hooked a monster in a Georgia lake, a 22-pound, 4-ounce largemouth bass, the world record. But here's the secret the experts discovered after that catch. It wasn't a normal bass. It was a different breed entirely, a subspecies that scientists call Micropatera salmonides floridanus, the Florida bass, a genetic line known to grow bigger, live longer, and possess unmatched aggression. That discovery kicked off a frenzy. States began competing to create the next record. So your father is the living result of that obsession, a direct descendant of the most prized genetic line on the planet, and you're the next model off the assembly line. From your fortified nursery, you watch the others. You see schools of bluegill fry get decimated by predators. Then you look back at your own world, patrolled by a guardian where nothing can harm you. You watch your father inhale a curious minnow and chase off a hungry perch. But after a few weeks, the protection of your father ends. The great school of fry disperses, each sibling now on its own. For most, this is a moment of pure terror. For you, it feels like a graduation. You are not scared. You are a young prince ready to explore. You begin to hunt, and you quickly learn that you have weapons others don't. Your vision is sharp, capable of distinguishing colors and shapes in the murky water. But your true secret weapon runs along your sides. A lateral line, a row of sensitive pores that act like radar. You don't just see the world, you feel it in vibrations. You feel the frantic, tiny movements of a dragonfly nymph clinging to a weed stem long before it becomes a clear target for your eyes. You instinctively mimic the ambush technique you saw your father use. You stay low, hidden, then sucks the nymph into darkness. Your first worthy kill. You quickly claim your own territory, and then one day, the universe itself seems to confirm your special status. The heavens open and rain down a feast of silvery wriggling bodies, an aerial stocking of trout fingerlings. For you, it is a tribute, a divine offering delivered from the sky directly to your kingdom. You spend the next hour in a state of bliss, gorging on the helpless, disoriented fish. In the middle of the feast, you spot one frantic fry darting towards a rocky ledge. You surge forward for the effortless kill. The tiny fish vanishes into a crevice between the rocks. You hover for a moment, insulted by the impossibly lucky escape, before shrugging it off and inhaling its slower sibling. It doesn't matter. So when you see a simple wounded minnow, you decide to bless this lowly offering with your attention. You inhale it. Then you are pulled. With a weak, irritating persistence, this isn't a battle. It's a nuisance. Your indignation growing with every foot until you breach the surface, you prepare to face the titan who dared to challenge you. But there is no titan. There is only a small human child, no older than 8, holding a cheap Mickey Mouse fishing rod. The child squeals with delight. "Mom, I got one! A little one!" You're held up not as a trophy, but as a curiosity, like a colorful bug. A picture is taken. You are dropped unceremoniously back into the water. You were a toy. For a child, the pride you inherited from your father curdles into something full of rage. You will never be a toy again. Years pass. That embarrassing encounter with the Mickey Mouse rod should have been a life-changing lesson about caution and the dangers of the surface world, but it wasn't. You grow to a formidable size, but your brain never truly evolves. It still operates on 2 simple settings: board and attack. You just can't control your territorial rage. A spinnerbait, a plastic worm, a bass jig, a noisy topwater popper, it doesn't matter the intruder. You attack them all, and the result is always the same. You get caught and released. Again, and again, and again. Each release doesn't teach you humility. It does the opposite. But today is different. A sleek, high-tech boat glides silently above. An expert angler is at work. A lure, a hyper-realistic swim bait, lands silently near your fortress. It is an intrusion so insulting that you don't strike to eat. You strike to obliterate. You explode from the water, shaking your head violently to throw the hooks. You dive deep, trying to wrap the line around your log, but the angler on the other end is a master. After an exhausting battle, you are brought aboard the boat. You're dropped into a live well. The shock is immense, but the true horror comes when you realize you are not alone. There are 2 other bass in here with you, and both of them are bigger. Your entire reality shatters. You, the king, the god, are suddenly just the smaller fish in a tiny, miserable box. The day ends in the roar of a crowd. Bright lights, the flash of cameras. You are no longer a creature of power, but a number on a scoreboard of attorney. And then the final act of your dethronement. You are released, but not back into your kingdom. You are dumped into a strange, unfamiliar part of the lake, miles from home. Your old confidence is gone, replaced by a gnawing vulnerability you haven't felt since you were a child. As you search desperately for new cover, a massive northern pike appears, the true apex predator of these waters. You does something you haven't done in years. You discreetly slip away into the deepest weeds you can find. But relax, nobody saw that. You've learned that being the strongest doesn't matter. Being the king is temporary. The game is rigged by the gods of the surface, so you decide to stop playing their game. If you can't be king, you'll be a ghost, a menace, a troll. Your new goal is no longer to dominate, it's to frustrate. Your new philosophy is put into practice immediately. You see an expensive, beautifully crafted lure. The new you has a better idea. You grab the lure by the tail and dive directly into the gnarliest submerged tree you can find, weaving and thrashing until you feel the sharp snap of the line. You spit out the lure, letting it snag on a branch. It's a tax you've just levied on the trespasser. Your new collection begins. You see a fisherman patiently working a plastic worm on the bottom. You gently swim up and tap the tail with your nose, just enough to make his line twitch. You watch him set the hook on nothing. You do it again, 5 minutes later. It's a cruel, calculated game of psychological warfare. Over time, you're a myth. You're the smart one that people hope to catch. You are the master of frustration, but your very success becomes your undoing. Game-like patterns attract a new kind of human. They don't arrive in a flashy bass boat. You see their boat and prepare for the game. You wait for the lure you can steal, the frog you can smash, the worm you can tease, but nothing comes. Instead, 2 strange metal wands are dipped into the water, and then your muscles lock. You are paralyzed, floating helplessly to the surface. You are brought aboard, then comes the final, permanent humiliation. A small, sharp tool pierces your dorsal fin, and a bright yellow tag, stamped with a serial number, is locked into place. You, the ghost of the lake, the king of frustration, have been cataloged. You are tossed back into the water. You swim away with the quiet, empty feeling of ultimate defeat. The tag is a constant, annoying reminder of your new reality. What creature do you think we should tackle next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. And if you felt a little bit of sympathy for this freshwater monster, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.